Hey guys, welcome back to Music Talk with John. Today I'm continuing through my record collection, starting with Chris Cornell's solo stuff, and working my way through Creedence Clearwater Revival. I'm going to be talking about Cream also in the middle, and I do have, I only have one of their albums, believe it or not, and I'll explain why later during the episode, but I am going to do a comparison between an album, its mono version and its stereo version. So we're gonna go through that. So kick back, put your feet up, and let's talk music. Okay, so welcome back. All right, so the first album I'm gonna be talking about here is Chris Cornell, obviously from Soundgarden. He was part of Temple of the Dog and Audio Slave, and this is his solo album. This is actually came out after his death. This came out in 2020, and it's a bunch of covers. And interesting, once I started going through these covers, didn't realize what some of these songs were, and then I looked it up and I was like, wow, okay, that's that song. And he really, I think what he did was really made these songs his own. You can hear when you go back and listen to the originals on these, you can hear that, you know, what those were like and then what he did to the songs, and the essence is still there, but I think he really brought them up, some of the songs up a notch. So the songs that are on here, and I'll give you an idea of, I'll give you the songs and then who originally did them. And the first one here is Get It While You Can, and that was actually Janis Joplin, and that was off her Pearl album. So he did a really good job with that. I like her version too. I went back and listened to hers, and I love her, I don't know, folksy kind of sound, kind of folk, but you know, good rock sound. But he brought it up to, and he took the essence of it and did something a little different with it. So I like both versions of it. Can't say one was better than the other. Then the next one is Jump Into the Fire, and that was a Harry Nilsson song. And I watched a documentary recently on Harry Nilsson. I can't say I like all of his stuff, but I definitely like the song that he did for Midnight Cowboy. But this song, I need to check out this album probably, because it came off the Nilsson Schmilsson album, and I saw that this was on MoFi. And you know, listening to his other stuff, I didn't really think, you know, it's no big deal. But now I'm going to go check out this Nilsson Schmilsson song, because there's a good hard rock feel to this song. It's called Jump Into the Fire. So I'm gonna have to check that out by Harry Nilsson. And it's interesting too that Harry Nilsson, in that documentary, it talked about how much John Lennon really liked him, and John Lennon contacted him, and I think he did some work on some of the Beatles solo stuff. He went in and was present during one of the Beatles recordings, but I don't know if he actually ended up on the Beatles. But it's interesting. He said he got some calls, one call from John, the next night he got a call from Paul, and so those guys were into him. So that was interesting. The next song on here is Sad Sad City, and it was by Ghostland Observatory. I never heard of that band before, but I went back and listened to their version. I really liked it, but it's just a killer song. There's not a bad track on this album, as far as I'm concerned. Then he does a cover of Patience by Guns N' Roses. If you don't know it, I'm surprised. Nothing Compares to You, another one. If you don't know it, I'm surprised. That song was written by Prince and performed by Sinead O'Connor, and that was her big hit. Then on side 2, he does Watching the Wheels, the John Lennon song, and I think he does a great job with it. It's interesting. He gets this last part of it, of the album, seems to get into a soul and R&B feel. Because there's a song after Watching the Wheels, You Don't Know Nothing About Love, and that was by Carl Hall, and that's a soul song. So if you look up the original on that, you see Chris he still has the soulful voice in it, but brings a little rock and roll into it. The next down was Showdown by ELO, and that's a good version of that song. And then the last two, you have To Be Treated Right by Terry Reid, and then the last one is Stay With Me Baby by Lorraine Ellison, and I'm gonna have to check her out. I really liked her version of Stay With Me Baby. So these are definitely really good good songs, interesting selections, shows you he really listened to a lot of different music. He was always in really hard, heavy bands, but this album has some of that feel, but it's all a little bit more mellower side of him too. So if you don't have this, I would definitely recommend, if you like Chris Cornell, I think you would really like this album. The next one I have here, so this is getting into the Cream, and this is what I'm going to tell you about. Now Cream, I don't have much of their stuff because I'm having a hard time finding copies that I want. I had older copies, I had Wheels of Fire and Fresh Cream, but I didn't have very good copies, a lot of pops. I finally, to help my collection here, to get a good sounding collection, I got rid of those just to make space for other things, knowing when something comes up, I'll go ahead and get it. The reason I ended up with 2 Disraeli gears, I already had one. This one here, the stereo version, good version of it. This is a, I believe, yeah, it's a 180 gram vinyl version, and this has, yeah, no pops on. Well, actually, the stereo version has a couple pops, but nothing crazy that's going to drive me nuts. The other Cream albums were just filled with them and just muddy sounding, so I got rid of those. The reason I have another one is this came along, and it was a 180 gram mono version of it, high definition premium version vinyl pressing, the nearest thing you can do for your stylus and your ears. So what I did, I was like, well, if I'm going to do this video, I might as well do a side, comparison to the sounds of the mono and the stereo version. And what I found was, while I liked them both, there was some things about the mono version that it just sounded like a band together. You don't have drums here and the guitar here and all that. You just have the band, and it seemed bass heavy. So I enjoyed that version. So I listened to the mono first. And then when you listen to stereo, it was easy for me to decide which one I liked better. Definitely the stereo. When you have Clapton over here playing the guitar and Ginger Baker's drums here, and in the different sounds they're doing, I think it just brings the song out and makes it more alive. If I'm gonna play it on stereo speakers, mono's fine. If I'm just kind of doing stuff around the house, but if I really paid attention to it, I want to listen to it, put the headphones on, stereo version. So I definitely, my opinion is I like the stereo version better, but I don't hate the mono version. So this is a clean copy, no pops on it, so definitely enjoy it. The songs on this album, so anyway, this was Disraeli Gears, I think I said that before. It was 1967 that this came out. And the songs on this is almost the greatest hits for Cream. Strange Brew, Sunshine of Your Love, Blue Condition, a song written by Ginger Baker, Tales of Brave Ulysses, Outside Woman Blues, the blues song, Take It Back, Mother's Lament, which is an interesting little song at the end. I don't know if that's a little English folk tale song, but it's about a little skinny baby going down the plug hole in a bathtub. So it's a fun song at the end, but it's cool. It works for the album. It's not too silly as far as I'm concerned. And then I looked up the meaning of Disraeli Gears and what that was about. So what was happening is the band and the crew were kind of playing around with words. So they were doing like, they came up with Elephant Gerald for Ella Fitzgerald. So they were playing around and stuff like that. So one of the crew members, some related to Cream, came up with Disraeli Gears, and it was Dara, I'm gonna look because I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I always get this mixed up. It was a racing bike part, Dara Willer gears or something. It was a gear set on Eric Clapton had wanted a racing bike. I don't know if it was a motorized racing bike or a pedal bike, I don't know. But the gears on it were from a certain brand, English brand, I believe, and they were like Derweiler gears or something. So one of the crew members said, oh, Disraeli gears. And Disraeli happened to be the last name of, I don't know if it was the prime minister at the time, but that was the prime minister in England. So they had to play on words, Disraeli Gears, instead of the true name of it. Wordplay, and that's how you got the title for your album. So no deep meaning there, just a play on words, and the band and the crew having fun, I guess. So little rock history there for you. Next one we have here, less band I'll be talking about, but I have most of their albums. is Creedence Clearwater Revival. Love these guys. Definitely enjoyed going through this again. The first one I have here is their first album, Creedence Clearwater Revival, self-titled. This is from Abbey Road Studios, and I'm finding, especially with the, I've heard the Police greatest hits of that, and it's great. Abbey Road is doing a really good job as far as sound quality. So this is mastered at Abbey Road's Studios, half-speed mastering. They say bringing down half speed increases the sound quality. Self-titled debut, celebrating their 50th anniversary, and it's on 180 gram. Songs on here are, hopefully I can see them, here we go. I Put a Spell on You, I believe that's an old blues song. Susie Q is on here. There's only 3 songs on side 1. Susie Q is a 8.5 minute song, and I Put a Spell on You is about 4 minutes. Then side 2, probably, I don't know if any of these are really that well known. 99 and a Half, Won't Do, Get Down Woman, Porterville, Gloomy. I like Gloomy, but I like this whole album. I don't want to say, but Gloomy's kind of sticking out. When I re-listen to this, I enjoy Gloomy. So this came out in, this was 1968. It's very heavy on the blues. I guess I'd never really noticed that about Creedence, but they were blues inspired, based, as well as rock and roll, obviously, but there's a lot of blues sounds in here. So definitely recommend that album, any Creedence album. I don't know about the last 2, to be honest with you, but these early ones, because they were really belting it out. And I don't know if you know the history of Creedence, but they weren't getting their money for their albums either. They signed a bad contract, and basically the manager or whoever was getting all the money to their residuals, as far as radio play, things like that. So they were not getting a lot of money out of these albums, and they were between, I think it was 69 and 70. They had 5 albums. This one here is Bayou Country, Abbey Road Studios again, same thing as the last one. This one was the first one that they put out in 69. This was January of 69. No pops on this record, no pops on that last one. Just nice and clean. The vinyl is black. The previous one was on black vinyl also. And just a great album here. Again, I can put on any of these Creedence albums and enjoy them. So Born on the Bayou is the first song. Good Golly Miss Molly, cover of Little Richard, I believe, and Proud Mary here, and I believe that's the cover of the what's her name, Ike and Tina there. But this whole album's really good. It's still like blues based, heavy on the blues and rock and roll, so very good album. In between, I think not in between this, because which one I say this is Bayou Country. Okay, so there's another album I'll talk to you about in a minute here. So this was 69. The first album was 69, the 6th of 3. Okay. The first of 3 for 69 was this Bayou Country. So I definitely recommend those Abbey Road's pressings. This one here is Green River, and this was the second one of 69. This came out in August. And I don't know why they're releasing so many albums in one year. I don't really understand that. But this one came. This one has Green River, which you might be familiar with. Bad Moon Rising is on here. And this is the one I noticed you're starting to, I don't know how you explain it, but it sounds like they're getting their CCR sound. It started sounding more like CCR, where you get later on with like Cosmo's Factory, which I'll talk about. You're starting to really get their sound. I don't know if it's in the production value, the way they put reverb on their voices and things, but this is the first one where you're starting to get what CCR is really sounding like. So that's the only way I can explain. It's just I noticed the difference between the sound of this album and the other 2. So this is Green River, and this was, like I said, 1969, the second album of that year in August. And actually, I think there's a little essence of Cream on here in a couple songs, to be honest with you. So I don't know if that's because I listened to Disraeli Gear so close to this one, and I kind of made a comparison. So then there was another album that I don't have that came out In '69, it was their last album in '69. That was November, and that was Willie and the Poor Boys. I did have a copy of that, but it was way too poppy, and just I had to get rid of it. Had to go. So I'm going to be looking for a copy of that one because that's another killer album. You got Down on the Corner. I think it's Down on the Corner with Willie and the Poor Boys. So that's on there. A lot of good songs on there. So I'll be looking for that. And that one came out in November of 1969. Okay, so now we're going to get into 1970. They had two albums in 1970. This one I think is their greatest album of all time. It's like a greatest hits. It's on black vinyl. Oop, I need to get a better sleeve on this bad boy. Got my paper sleeve. Better change that out. Creedence Clearwater Revival, Cosmo's Factory. This was 1970, July 1970. This one's a nice copy. No pops on it. Not really sure where this was pressed or anything, but this is a good sounding album. Your hits on here are, well, they do a cover of Before You Accuse Me, the blues song Ooby Dooby, made popular by Roy Orbison. Looking Out My Back Door, Run Through the Jungle, that Vietnam song there. Up Around the Bend, Who'll Stop the Rain, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, the Marvin Gaye cover, and the song that I love the most, thought it was ahead of the time, was Long As I Can See the Light, and that was the last song on there. And just the way it's just a nice, soothing song to end the album and chill on, and you know, this is just a great album, beginning to end, especially Ramble Tamble, the beginning. It's a 7-minute song, and it's sort of a jam. It goes into a jam and goes through different feels, so that's a great thing. And then I Heard It Through the Grapevine is actually an 11-minute version, so it's a killer jam song too. So if you don't have this and you're looking to start with Creedence, usually I'd say start with a compilation, and it's not a bad idea, but Cosmo's Factory is a really good start to really get into Creedence Clearwater Revival. So like I said, that was Cosmo's Factory, 1970, and that came out in July. Then you had another one in 1970, which I don't have. It's called Pendulum, and that was November of 1970. That, to be honest with you, I'm not really familiar with that album, so I'm gonna have to check it out. Then their last album came out in 1972, and that was Mardi Gras, and they performed it as a trio. Tom Fogerty left, and the lead vocals on the albums are actually shared by the 3 remaining members. It wasn't just John Fogerty singing on there. So I haven't heard that album either, so it'd be interesting, because usually when you hear CCR, I like that Fogerty voice, so I don't know how I'm going to take that album. So that's going to be one I'm going to give a listen to. But the last one I have here is, of course, the compilation. So if I just want to hear all the hits, I just put this bad boy on. This one sounds good. There are no pops, it's clean. I don't think this was on a colored vinyl. Here we go again with the paper. I'm going to have to switch this out, but yeah, kind of cool. Green vinyl, and probably like for that Creedence swampy thing, or maybe Green River kind of thing. So I think the green kind of goes with the whole Creed. See, this is why I do not like paper, because it just feels like it's scratching my record. So I'm going to swap this out as soon as this video is over. Not even going to bother putting it back in there. So both albums, I believe, are on green vinyl. Yeah, this one's the same color as the one I just showed you, but I'm not going to take it out after. So this is a good compilation. This is a Creedence Clearwater Revival featuring John Fogerty, Chronicle, 20 Greatest Hits. I've seen this on CD and many different things. There's your front and back, and this version's a gatefold, and got the guys in the band. And you have little chronicle, actually. It talks about the different albums and when they were released. Kind of cool. So this one has I Put a Spell on You, Susie Q, Proud Mary, Bad Moon Rising, Lodi, Green River, Commotion, Down in the Corner, Fortunate Son, Traveling Band, Who'll Stop the Rain, Up Around the Bend, Run Through the Jungle, Looking Out My Back Door, Long As I Can See the Light, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, Have You Ever Seen the Rain, Hey Tonight, Sweet Hitchhiker, and Someday Never Comes. Great album too. So I'd start with Cosmo, and then this. And this has a couple songs from Cosmo's Factory, but those two I would start with Creedence, and then you could work your way towards the earlier stuff, I would say, because I'm not too sure about the later ones. But anyway, that's what I have. Hopefully some good information for you. Hope you enjoyed it. And I'm going to continue through my albums, and I have a couple videos coming up with some new finds, so I'll be mixing those in and out. I try to do Mondays, I try to do continuing through my current music, and then Fridays anything, like if I visited somewhere, have a guest or anything like that. So try to keep that going. But anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Definitely leave me some comments. I like interacting with you guys. Hit that like button. And until next time, enjoy your music. Bye.